I thought it was 9 minutes. It was written so. Honorable Chairman, I thank you for this opportunity given to me to speak on such a highly important bill. Highly important from the point of view of the government, because this government tabled this controversial bill during the New Year holiday period. The duration for petitions to be filed before the Supreme Court was restricted to a week from the date of the bill being tabled in Parliament. 5 out of the 7 days available for potential challenges were New Year public holidays. Yet I found a number of petitions had been filed indeed, including the Bar Association, Transparency International, Center for Policy Alternatives, JVP, UNP and many others. This shows how controversial the bill has become. Fortunately, the Supreme Court has dampened the spirits of the government. If the government intends to respect the views of the Supreme Court, the government must table a corrected version of the bill and give us time to study it instead of taking a vote tomorrow in a hurry. Controversy centers around the bill because it allows the establishment of a separate entity so close to the capital city of Colombo. The fear seems to be that the setting up of an autonomous administration for the port city would be the creation of a Chinese colony within Sri Lanka. The irresponsible borrowings and the isolation from the rest of the world because of our abysmal human rights record has driven us now to grovel before the Chinese again. One cannot ignore the fact that a desperate Chinese loan was signed.
ගරු සභාපතිතුමා මෙතුමාට අවීරයක් කරන විදිහෙන් නෙමෙයි කතා කරන්නේ. දැනට සමාජ මාධ්‍ය ජාල හරහා යනවා පාර්ලිමේන්තු පොකුරක් බෝ වෙලා කියලා කොරෝනා වසංගතය. එතකොට මෙතන මන්ත්‍රීවරයෙකුට හැදිලාද නැද්ද? හැදිලා නම් අද මේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුව නවත්තන්න වෙනවා.
හරි ඒක අවධානය යොමු කරන්න කියලා.
ඒක සත්‍යද නැද්ද කියලා අපිට පොඩ්ඩක් කියන්න.
එහෙම වාර්තා වෙලා නැහැ. ඒක
වාර්තා වෙලාද නැද්ද කියලා කරුණා කරලා කියන්න. වාර්තා වෙලා නම් මේක නතර කරන්න. මොකද නැත්තම් මේ අපි පාර්ලිමේන්තුව අපි පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ
You speak.
Let me continue, sir. Let me continue. After all, we Tamils are only asking for a confederal unit within the territorial integrity of this island. But instead of discussing with us our rights and suitability to claim such a unit of self-determination for the Tamils, the government seems to be very lavish to the Chinese. All because we borrowed from the Chinese to fulfill our pet dreams, like the establishment of the Mattala airport. Our tanha has led us to this impasse. The message that is being brought out by the actions of our successive governments of Sri Lanka is that they are not moved by principles nor pragmatism, only military might and pecuniary considerations. It is no wonder then, from time to time, citizens of this country attempt violent revolutions. On a cursory glance at the bill, there is no doubt that there would be lack of transparency in relation to the operations of offshore banks in the port city that would be free from the purview of the regulatory framework applicable to local banks. I had no time to study the recommendations of the Supreme Court in detail, but it is patent that the bill as it is would enable the evasion of parliamentary oversight on public funds, and matters taking place within the port city would be creating a serious gap in public accountability. Many acts of parliament enacted in the country would not be applicable to the port city. The port city the port city land has been released from all 14 tax acts, including the Inland Revenue Act. The government seems to have been very lavish in telling the Chinese, ask and it shall be given. When I was Chief Minister of the Northern Province, I repeatedly called for the creation of a Chief Minister's Fund under the 13th Amendment to help our people affected by the war. But the government, which refused to give even such a small power to its Tamil brethren, who had lived together with the Sinhalese in this island for thousands of years, have today offered to give the land and sea of this country to the Chinese who come from afar. This government recently chanted a slogan, "One country, one law." Where has this slogan gone now? Or did we mean Chinese law for the whole country? Are we not mortgaging the future of the people of this country by piling debt on the shoulders of many generations to come? Hope this country realizes the tragedy enacted. The majority community, in order to enslave the Tamils, went on borrowing from outside to fight the war. Our politicians and others made hay while the sun shined, but the stage was reached that we were fast becoming bankrupt, and here we are trying to give our prime land on a platter to our new colonial masters. If only the Sinhalese leaders, instead of beating the anti-Tamil drums, sat down to make amends with us Tamils, we would not have reach this pathetic stage. SWRD Bandaranaike, who tried to make amends, was brutally killed by a Buddhist monk. The Buddhist monks have recently met the governor of the northern province and made sure that she handed over the administration of 13 villages in Mullaitivu to the Mahaveli authority, which had always acted contrary to the interests of the indigenous population of the northern and eastern provinces. The Mahaveli authority has hitherto grabbed traditional Tamil lands and given to the Sinhalese without bringing a drop of water to the Mullaitivu district from the Mahaveli as promised at the time of its establishment. Very recently, name boards in the government departments in Manalaru in the Mullaitivu district, which had existed as Manalaru for centuries, has given first preference to the Sinhala language to call the village Valioya, while in the port city, Sinhala takes second place and sometimes no place at all, giving first preference to Chinese language. It is funny, the Buddhist monks are in the forefront in the north and east to grab traditional Tamil lands, but in the western province, they are allowing their Virayas and Suryas to give our land to the Chinese on a platter. The honourable members of this House must realise that we Tamils of this country are in complete agreement with the patriotic Sinhalese in opposing attempts to compromise the sovereignty of this country. No doubt we Tamils are conscious of our identity as a nation in terms of international law, but we still belong to this country. This is no doubt our country. We cannot allow the government to surrender and mortgage our country to the Chinese. We need to revert to our former non-aligned status. Though thoughtless actions can cause such thoughtless actions can cause permanent damages to this country, which may become irretrievable. Let me explain, sir. Just a little of my time was taken. Please give me that time. Commission, for example, is given general power to plan, issue, and monitor compliance of permits and authorization, notwithstanding anything to the contrary to any other written law. Section 6(1)(I). This is the power to create new rights and obligations in disregard to national law. In other words, it is legislative power in the strict sense granted to the Commission in violation of the Sri Lankan Constitution. Further, Section 3(5) of the bill requires the Commission to obtain concurrence of the relevant regulatory authority. However, the second proviso to Section 3(6) stipulates the relevant regulatory authority from whom such concurrence is being sought by the Commission shall, as soon as practicable in the circumstances as a matter of priority, provide such concurrence to the to the Commission. On the one hand, the Commission is required to obtain concurrence, and on the other hand, it could compel prompt concurrence. Thus, the Commission has power to override national regulatory law at will. Therefore, it would appear that the Port City Bill, as currently drafted, would be contrary to the Constitution if passed. If the government intends avoiding a referendum as prescribed in Article 83 of the Constitution, I'm finishing up, sir, it should take the advice of the Supreme Court, redraft the bill, circularize it among the honourable members, give sufficient time for them to peruse the new draft, and thereafter have discussion.
Honourable